Hi everybody, this is Saad for the Sad Truth. I was recently asked by a viewer on my YouTube channel to maybe start an award that would be granted each year to the greatest social justice warrior of a given year. And I thought that was a really nice idea, and I suggested that people submit to me some of their most preferred cases of such lunacy. But then I thought, I think I might have a winner, perhaps that could never be defeated. And so I'd like to present the inaugural uh, all-time greatest social justice warrior, or warriors in this case, in the history of humanity. They stem from Dartmouth College. Uh, I should, in all fairness, state that I was a visiting professor in 2002 at Dartmouth College. Loved my time there. Great colleagues, many great students, perhaps slightly entitled. And so this is not a an attack on Dartmouth College per se, but rather a critique of what happens when social justice warriors start running the asylum, so to speak. And so this actually comes from 2014, where some students barged into the president president's office of Dartmouth College and proceeded to start a sit-in where they submitted a document entitled the Freedom Budget, which contained many points that they wanted to have enacted at Dartmouth, and they wanted the president and the senior administrators to respond to these items. I actually first discussed this case in 2014 when I gave a invited lecture at Wellesley College on the thought police, and so I thought I would take verbatim some of the demands that these social justice warriors made. And as you'll see, they are certainly worthy of the title of the greatest social justice warriors of all time, because they pretty much cover all of the nonsensical gibberish that one might imagine, all in one self-contained document. So here we go. I'm going to start reading you some of these um, demands. So, the college still does not have an academic program or coursework focused on the Asian American experience. Many other comparable institutions of higher learning have a formal Asian American Studies program. So there you go. We have identity politics here. Moving on with some more identity politics. Establish Japanese language affinity housing, Korean language affinity housing, and Hindu Urdu language affinity housing. What about Armenian affinity housing? What about German affinity housing? What about Arabic affinity housing? Nope, apparently only these three particular identity groups deserves focus. Ensure that 47% of postdoctoral students are people of color. I don't know where they got 47%, but 47% of postdoctoral students must be people of color. Create, I'm trying to not laugh here, create a Professor of Color lecture series. Bring a professor of color once a month in order to expose the Dartmouth community to a wide range of ideas. Yes, because, for example, if you're studying number theory in mathematics, you'd want to bring in a professor of color to teach that particular thing, because depending on your skin tone, prime numbers behave in different ways, and so you really need to view knowledge through the prism of one's skin color. That makes good sense. Departments that do not have women, WOMYN, or people of color will be considered in crisis and must take urgent and immediate action to right the injustice. So, hey, mathematics department, you don't have the requisite women or people of color. You are in crisis, folks. Time to intervene. Moving on with some more very progressive requests. Every Dartmouth student should be taught and made aware that the land that they reside on is Abenaki homeland. This should take place during all major Dartmouth ceremonies, especially during orientation and commencement. By that logic, of course, I am at Concordia University. Quebec at one point was inhabited by the Iroquois and by the Algonquins, and so we should make sure to always remember whenever we have ceremonies, let's say graduation ceremonies, that this is Iroquois and Algonquin land. And of course, you should do the same in the US. This is Navajo land, this is Sioux land, and so on and so forth. All right, let's move on. Ask staff/faculty to use students' and employees' preferred gender pronouns. Some of you may remember that this is exactly the type of issue that I discussed post my lecture at Wellesley College, where a student had said that professors should poll every student to find out what his or her gender identity is. Moving on with the demands. Gender-neutral housing must be available to all students, regardless of what year they are in. The college needs to ensure that gender-neutral housing does not get stigmatized. There you go. Both gender-specific and gender-neutral bathrooms need to be available in every residential building on campus. Now, this next one is a really good one. All male-female check boxes should be replaced with write-in boxes to make forms, surveys, and applications more inclusive for trans, star, two-spirit, agender, gender non-conforming, and gender queer folks. This should be a campus-wide policy. I'm going to lose it, folks. We have one more page of demands, but there are many, many more if you read the full document, which I'll provide you the link at the bottom of this clip. Enact curricular changes that require all students to interrogate issues of social justice, marginalization, and exploitation in depth. Each student should have to take classes that will challenge their understanding of institutionalized injustice around issues of race, class, gender, sexuality, etc. This learning objective could be embedded in all first-year seminars. So if I am an undergraduate student hoping to go to Dartmouth to study pure mathematics, sorry boy, you've got to first go to re-education camp where you're taught about the really important issues, and then you could get on with that business of pure mathematics that you came here for. Moving on, all professors will be required, this is astonishing, all professors will be required to be trained in not only cultural competency, but also the importance of social justice in their day-to-day work. All right, Professor Saad, I know you're an evolutionary behavioral scientist who applies biology in studying consumer behavior, but screw that stuff. You now need to go to Gulag 13, where you will be re-educated about cultural competency. Schmuck. Mandate training for all staff and faculty across all departments that adequately prepares them to aid undocumented students in regards to future professional and academic plans. So it is the job of all members of the college, in this case, to make sure that we come to the aid of undocumented students, which of course is a euphemism for illegal aliens. So, which brings us to the next request: ban the use, right? Who bans the use of words? Totalitarian ideologies. So ban the use of illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, wetback, and any racially charged term on Dartmouth sanctioned programming materials and locations. And finally, but there are again many more, I strongly advise you to read the full document. The library search catalog system shall use undocumented instead of illegal in reference to immigrants. So I chose these particular demands from the larger set of demands because they really cover every imaginable area of social justice warrior lunacy. Now, it doesn't matter whether the senior administrators actually implemented any of these demands or not. What matters is the fact that there are students at a very prestigious Ivy League university or college that find it perfectly reasonable and appropriate to take these positions. Anybody who's listening to this should be mortally afraid of this nonsense. So there you go, the all-time greatest social justice warriors in the history of humanity. I'm not sure that they could ever be defeated, so they might have to have the plaque, hold the plaque forevermore. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this little interlude of utter lunacy. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Tell your friends about it. Talk to you soon. Ciao.